have
back to the
a bunch of
bits.
other stuff now in closing. You were talking I guess I failed to like bring it up when the news was flowing. But what is it that they're doing in Sepang? What are they doing? What do we expect from Malaysia?
Yeah, pull up those pictures. I put up on the links page the Sepang reprofiling, but a lot actually. I thought I saw this over the past week or so. The Sepang, the Malaysian circuit, it's been closed. I don't know. It's been closed since February, I think, for some work. They're doing some reprofiling. So the circuit originally opened in 2009. No, 1999. 1999. Sorry.
Yes.
So I guess they just decided to change it, keeping up with the progression of FIA and the FIM rules for the motorcycle races. So you can see here that photograph. The second one there at the bottom. This is the final corner. It's a big hairpin at the end of the circuit. They've put it completely off camber. It was kind of on camber before, but progressively off camber. So the outside of the corner is a lot more off camber than the inside. But yeah, according to the article, I thought that's all they really had done, but they've actually reprofiled and changed, I don't know, almost all of it. Almost every corner. Hold on, I had a list here. I got it right here. So corners 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, as well as 8, 9, 12, and 15, the final corner, have all been reprofiled.
Nice.
And improved drainage at some of the other ones, and some of them they changed the runoff areas, which were sand. They got sanded, but
this looks like brand new concrete, man.
Yeah, it's been since February 15th. It's gonna reopen May 8th, so there's still another 4 weeks of work. They've reprofiled.
Formula One doesn't get to go there until October 2nd.
October, right?
Yeah.
The first race will be the second week of May. I think it's some kind of superbike race.
Ooh.
But honestly, this circuit is badass. This is by far I would say my favorite Tilke circuit.
We used to have Malaysia, the Malaysian Grand Prix earlier in the year. That's how it had been for a long time. Until this year. Now it's been moved back to kind of make more logistical sense or something to like fit.
Yeah.
To you know what, to go with somebody's agenda. It's been pushed back in the calendar. But yeah, like the Malaysian Grand Prix, like it was a race definitely that I look forward to every year. And I still do, and now I do more because you know what happens with fresh new tarmac, it's still oily, right?
Yeah. So
those corners, if anything, they're gonna be slippery.
Yeah, for sure. It's been, I don't know, the circuit opened in '99. It's been open for a long time. So I guess really it's time. Why not?
Yeah.
Reprofile the course, change all the driving lines are going to be changed. The entries to the corners, the exits of the corners, the apexes possibly on some of them, especially this last corner, which was one of the most difficult and one of the probably hardest on tires. Now even more difficult with a narrower racing line.
Yeah.
I don't know. It should be awesome. I love this. But yeah, this has been announced in the past week. I guess most of the work is done. Some of the runoffs have been changed from sand to pavement. I guess
they do that that's mostly for the bikes.
Yeah, for the super bikes and MotoGP.
Yeah,
you race there. But
FIM, the FIA equivalent for motorcycles. They're really keen on changing all the runoffs from gravel to tarmac.
Right?
Oh, really?
It's safer for bikes.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, I guess like if you're in a motocycle that's going like over 200 kilometers an hour and like crash into a pile of gravel, you're gonna get hurt.
You get thrown. You get thrown top. It's called top siding on a super bike.
Oh, wow.
We fly over the outside of the bike. Whereas if it's paved, your leathers are gonna protect you, and you'll just slide. You'll just stay on the low side. The bike will stay down.
Cool.
But if you hit the sand, kind of like what happened to Alonso in Australia, he hit the sand and boom, it just stopped and flipped him up in the air. which is what happens to these bikes.
Oh, interesting.
The tires just kind of grip, and you flip over the top of the bike and fly through the air.
But see, that's the kind of shit that you want to see in F1. So it's always weird because when you add more tarmac runoff, or when you change something that was pure gravel to tarmac, it's good for MotoGP. The MotoGP guys, it's good for the bikes, but it's not necessarily as exciting for Formula One because the Formula One guys would still be fine. They'd survive. Alonso got out of that crash.
Yeah.
But it really punishes you if you make that mistake. If you make that mistake, your race is over.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, and that's
those paved runoffs. I was kind of upset. Over the last 2 years, they paved most of the Canadian runoffs. The circuit I've been to them at all. But yeah, it doesn't punish you the same like before. Like the chicanes at Canada, like if you ran off there, you're in the grass, you're in the wall, you're in the tire wall, you're in the sand.
Yeah.
Which the runoffs that were sand. Now you just kind of regain yourself and drive across to re-enter the race. You just keep going.
Yeah. It's gonna be a different track basically. It's gonna be. I mean, not completely different, but it's gonna be a different track in the way that the drivers are gonna approach it, and it's definitely gonna throw something exciting. I'm sure it will, and by then, we'd be having that situation where the teams probably would have all really got jumped on top of the tires situation. So this is gonna be a nice little challenge, a little different challenge to have. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So to go for the deep details, an Italian design from Dromo called Dromo was hired to reprofile the Sepang track. The Jarno Zeffeli, an Italian designer, was chosen.
So not Tilke, huh?
No, Tilke designed the original track, but this man Jarno Zeffeli, head of Italian design from Dromo, was hired for the resurfacing, upgrading, draining, and reprofiling. So a lot of the corners, the camber in and out, and the angle that you're gonna hit the track has been changed. So it's interesting. It's awesome because Sepang is really one of the premier circuits in the world. They get a huge turnout for all kinds of races.
They always make a big deal with F1 too. Like they really embrace it.
Yeah, it's a badass track.
Let's not forget that
it's fun to drive.
One of the biggest sponsors of Mercedes is Petronas, and they're from Malaysia, so they always make a big deal about it.
Right.
Yeah.
You see all the turquoise in those photographs.
Yeah, that's
sort of the Malaysian color, I guess.
Well, I mean,
you can see even their trees. Look at it's sort of like the color of the. Just the color.
It's a Petronas tree.
But so I guess for the next 15 years, this is how the circuit will be. There's a different driving line. It's a new circuit. It's the same turns, but it's a whole new attitude that you need going in.
Cool.
It's awesome.
You know. Okay. So and then I also like heard you looking into Kyalami.
Yes. So
Kyalami. How do you pronounce this?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But this is the
South African track.
South African national circuit. It also has been repaved, reprofiled, rebuilt, and I guess they've sort of. I don't know if the original target, since remember we talked about a few weeks ago, Bernie Ecclestone said, "Hey, the South African GP could return. Wouldn't that be awesome? We could race there again." This is based on the Kyalami circuit renewal. They've rebuilt, reprofiled also a lot of the turns, a lot of the runoffs, changed the safety, but apparently what they're going for, what they've achieved, what they're going to be granted is a grade 2, which is FIA grade 2 is anything can race there except Formula 1.
Yeah.
Right. Formula 1 is the next level. You need bigger runoffs, you need longer runoffs, you need the helicopter.
How much fun would it be to go back to
safety center
to South Africa? I think South Africa has actually a rich racing history. They've been in Formula 1 from like
the circuit was built in 1961.
Races. Yeah,
61.
And since 61, back like when F1 was like really coming to its own, right? Like the golden era that like so many people like look back and like in what's melancholy and you know the longing for those for those the good old days. They're talking about
nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia. This is one of the circuits that produce some of the best races. Mansell has some of his golden races in Kyalami, and it would be good to bring back the South African Grand Prix. I think it's a way to get back to the African market, but it has to be done right. It has to be done with the right attitude. You can get a lot of African viewers just from the South African Grand Prix, but you have to make sure that things are mobile friendly, for example, because right now Africa is a thriving continent. It's the fastest growing continent in terms of economic growth right now is Africa, but it is because they're approaching things a different way. They skipped the telephone, and everybody now has a cell phone there.
Yeah.
Like they skipped having landlines. They've skipped through like many like development stages that in the West and like pretty much everywhere else. Dial up, for example, and went straight to like
telegrams and telegraphs and all that stuff has got skipped
and went right to like the newest shit right now.
SMS.
There's a vibrant, interconnected, mobile phone based technology or economy in Africa.
They're not quite really at the smartphone yet, but in between they skipped all that shit.
Yeah, that can be upgraded.
They skipped all that shit in between though.
They have the infrastructure for it. There's a lot of growth still to come from Africa. A lot of companies are looking at Africa as the next thing, like the next uncharted land, and Nestle is trying to move heavy. Like this big investment from like big established companies in Africa right now, and the success of them should. I mean, there's gonna be enough money there for plenty of years to come, and it only makes sense that F1 would want to go to Africa.
Right. So the man, Mr. Baldwin, in charge of this circuit in South Africa, he's conceded. Obviously, the track since 2014, it was bought by Porsche South Africa. Porsche owns the circuit now. They dumped a huge amount of money in there to bring other series there. But yeah, he said, obviously, we'd love to host F1. Charlie Whiting's been there for the grading process, the FIA accreditation, which they need. He's got to go check it out and sign off. But he said, as has been proven in other countries, South Africa, the government would need to support the race, and pay for most of it. But it was sold. The circuit was sold in almost like defunct, decrepit state. It was almost unusable in 2014 to Porsche for 205 million rand, South African currency.
What does that mean?
I calculated that to be about 14.38 million US dollars.
So I mean,
in 2014,
petty cash, like really
compared to what we just talked about the Chinese circuit, they spent almost $500 million US dollars to build that track.
Wow.
It was like 1.4 billion renminbis or whatever.
At that point, it looks like a bargain. Obviously, you probably have to dump a couple $100 million to make it like FIA, like grade 1, F1.
I couldn't find the exact number, but I think it was somewhere around 25 million. They spent, I believe, more than they paid for the track to upgrade it to grade 2.
To grade 2,
yeah. Just to get to grade 2, which is, the pit facilities, media center,
some runoffs,
food service, everything you'd need to entertain 100,000 people. But anyways, Bernie said it could happen. They're talking about it. It's a possibility.
I'd look forward to that. I actually really would like to see a race in Africa.
It'd be awesome.
Why don't we go to Africa right now? Who knows why? I mean, I guess the Middle East is considered Africa for some people, but not really. Talking about like real like Africa. Yeah,
it depends what country, but yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Don't expect it soon, but they're at grade 2. They've made it. They've made it there. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
What else you got?
I guess sticking with money.
Yeah.
Rio Haryanto.
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
You heard about this? So we talked at the start of the year, even up until like a week or two before the season started. Manor wasn't sure who their drivers were going to be.
Yeah.
Indonesia was super behind Rio. They wanted their countrymen to represent
They promised
Indonesia.
a bunch of money.
Yeah, they promised a bunch. They paid a bunch. The government, the taxpayers, are paying his salary to drive for millions of dollars his car.
Yeah.
Right? But to continue this dream for next year at least, they want, I think, another $4.7 million US, which is I don't know, the government, before they dip into the federal budget of Indonesia to start paying for this guy's sports contract, they've opened up, I don't know what you'd call it, a charity hotline, I guess. If you're an Indonesian, you can text the word Rio to number 7788, and this will immediately bill you 5,000 rupiahs into Indonesian currency, 5,000, which is equal to about 38 cents US dollars.
Okay.
5,000 rupiahs, 38 cents, up until May 16th. And they will accept this money through your phone bill. It'll be added to your phone bill. And hopefully they'll be able to afford
raise
4.7 million US dollars. In Indonesian currency, if you're an Indonesian citizen, they need 12.5 million of you to text Rio to 7788 to guarantee his seat for next year.
Wow.
So this man will prove himself through his rookie season as a bona fide driver. 12.5 million SMSs are needed.
Jesus.
Times 38 cents, yeah. That'll do it. That'll do it.
Just that. Come on, get going, Indonesians.
Come on, guys. I believe in you.
Another guy who could use your tweets right now is Vijay Mallya.
Jeez, are we closing with this Vijay Mallya thing? All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the last thing I got.
All right.
Well, let's close with that.
Yeah.
I got one more. Jackie Stewart in the past week, a legend of motorsport, of Formula One.
Also known for sometimes not having, how do we put this politely, running his mouth.
I guess so. He's proposed in the past week that Mercedes should leave Formula One right now.
See, I didn't read that article, but I can just imagine Jackie Stewart saying something that makes absolutely no sense.
Well, his reasoning makes a bit of sense.
Okay, what do they say?
It depends which side of Mercedes you stand on, I guess, if you're a fan or not. But his reasoning is, as Mercedes did in the past, and as Ford did with their Cosworth brand, they stepped back and they continued to supply engines to the sport. So he's not suggesting they completely abandon Formula One and disappear.
They're saying
obviously,
so get rid of the works team.
Get rid of the Mercedes works team and continue to supply engines, because Mercedes right now, they're on top of the world. They've built probably what's believed to be the most efficient gas-powered machine ever built. Their race car.
Yeah, that's true. That maybe that doesn't get enough attention. Their F1 car is the most efficient
gasoline burning machine that has ever been built on Earth by humans.
Jesus.
But
never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Jackie Stewart's argument is that eventually Ferrari, Honda, McLaren, Honda, powered by Honda, they're gonna beat them, and at that point, their big right now, money's not a big problem to Mercedes.
No.
Daimler's behind them. Petronas is behind them. They have a lot of big sponsors that are paying for a lot of what they're doing. Monster Energy.
Yeah.
All these guys.
BlackBerry, Qualcomm, etc. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so many. Epson.
Yeah.
Epson. Hugo Boss. But at some point, and in the not too distant future, because no team has ever dominated the sport for more than 4 years. For a few years before everyone figures out what's going on
or the regulation change completely.
Yeah, or the rules change. Somebody's gonna beat them. But if they continue, and when they do, they're big sponsors. Daimler, they're not gonna be too happy, right?
No.
Oh, Ferrari beat us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if they continue building as badass a machine as they have been, everyone's gonna want to buy it. If they left and said, "Hey, the motor's for sale. What? Anyone can buy it. Red Bull, you want it?
Yeah.
Toro Rosso, you want to drive this?
You like what
You guys want to buy this? You know what I mean?
mean?
In that context of not being dominant forever,
Mhm.
it makes a bit of sense.
It does.
And that is Jackie Stewart's argument. And his quote is, gentlemen, how much does F1 cost us? Okay, money's not a problem because we have major sponsors, as Mercedes do, but the risk is they'll be beaten by Ferrari, Red Bull. A race or two is not the same thing, but he said, maybe I'm the only one who thinks this way, but that's exactly what I would do, and it would be good not only for Mercedes, but for the sport. And he's kind of right.
Yeah.
It would be possibly better for the sport because it would blue screen of death.
Hashtag rip Danny's laptop.
Damn.
Good. I just finished the story. Anyways, but I don't know. Anyway, an old guy running his mouth. He doesn't work for Mercedes,
No.
but it does kind of make sense. I want to see them push as far and as long as they can, kick ass as a works team, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
I think everybody would like to see that. And if Ferrari comes and like steals their trophy, you'd like to see them claw their way back. You know what I mean? Like you'd like to see them race. Let's race. That's how it should be.
Once they do get beaten,
Yeah.
that's what you want to see next is when are they going to come back? How are they going to do it?
Yeah.
Who's going to drive the car? Who's going to design it? Blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. Whatever. This is interesting. Interesting quote.
Can we talk?
Generated some waves.
Can we talk about a fat brown man with a funny haircut now?
The king of good times?
Yeah.
The king of good times?
Wait, the former king of good times.
The former king of good
And
times,
now
according
he's probably the king of
according
running away.
according to who's that? The New York Times? No, Al Jazeera?
Yeah, this is the former king.
Al Jazeera has referred to Vijay Mallya as the former king of good times.
The ones called former king of good times.
Yeah. He was even, I believe in India, Vijay Mallya was sort of a figure before he even got into F1.
Yes.
He was
a
guy.
brand.
He was a billionaire. He was a party man. He bought liquor companies.
He's no longer a billionaire.
No.
He made his millions from billions.
So now the Indian, my computer's off right now, so I don't remember the exact name, but the Indian
Directorate or whatever, the Enforcement Directorate, that's what it was. Yes.
Oh, right. The Enforcement Directorate, which is India's financial crimes investigation department, whatever you call it, agency.
So they reached the courts basically, and they got a warrant, right?
They've got an arrest warrant granted for Vijay Mallya's arrest.
And this was after his diplomatic passport, because he holds. Let's not forget.
Okay, he's a member of parliament.
He's a member of the Indian Parliament, and he's on the lam in England.
He says he did not abscond. He refuses to admit that he's absconded from India, that he escaped his persecution from the government to England. But we can't forget, England and India have signed, I guess, bilateral extradition treaty in 1993. So he's known for a long time that he's he can't hide. He can't exactly hide in England.
Yeah.
But he owes a group of banks $1.34 billion.
Some of them state owned. Let's not forget.
Yes, that's what I was going to mention next.
Yeah.
He took a loan. I think maybe the biggest loan that Kingfisher Airlines took was from IDBI, which is the State Bank of India.
Yeah.
The federal bank. And they took a massive loss from that loan. They loaned him the money knowing that Kingfisher was financially in big trouble. But they loaned him the money anyway. I'm not sure why. But this is important. His arrest warrant has been granted not because he owes that money.
Okay.
And at the same time, he 2 weeks ago, he said that he was willing to pay 5,000 crore, which we found out was something worth about $600 million.
Uh-huh.
He was willing to pay that back immediately, with immediate effect, but it was refused by his debtors to take that money because I guess they would rather see him in jail. I guess I'm not sure. It was slightly less than half of what he owes, but his arrest warrant, part of it is the federal bank wants to see him in court to negotiate what he's going to pay face to face. But it's not just that he owes the money and ran away, or they think they can't prove that he ran away.
Right.
He was just visiting his family in London.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's visiting his family in London. But this criminal investigation, the arrest warrant is granted based on some kind of new evidence, which has been refuted in every angle, that he siphoned money from Kingfisher Airlines to buy property foreign to India.
Ah.
So this is the allegation that he's
actually
the warrant for arrest is
Right,
being
okay.
granted under, is that he siphoned money from Kingfisher Airlines that he was the CEO, president, whatever of. The owner. But he took that money to buy land, some sort of tropical island, or who knows? Who knows what he bought?
Maybe where he's staying in Britain.
Yeah, maybe he bought the houses in England or whatever. Who knows? His house in India. It could be anywhere. Could be anywhere.
Not in India though.
Probably not in India, because his goal now is to never go back to India. I'm sure.
Yeah. No,
Never go back to India.
Until he's like issued a pardon of some sort, which won't happen.
But his problem now is that he's not a British citizen, and his Indian passport has been suspended by the government of India.
Technicalities.
So I think he's stuck in England.
No, he is what back in the day I would have called royally screwed.
He's fucked. He's fucked. He's stuck in England until a possible extradition treaty is granted, and then the federal police of England will be looking for him all day.
There is one thing that I think that is maybe like the only like sad outcome of this is that we can already see that it is affecting the racing team, and there's no way that it won't, because if the guy that previously was the top guy that would have made all the top decisions is busy running from the law,
and his partner, who was Sahara,
is
in
jail.
Man, who's in jail, who was the second highest guy in charge of making all the decisions,
all the big decisions.
He's got his name printed on the side of the car.
When you have this uncertainty in any business, no matter what it is, it gets reflected in the performance. Even if you try to make the argument that these things are not necessarily like connected, this and that, no, they are. If the guy at the very top of the pyramid is starting to crumble, the rest too follows.
You should think about the base of the pyramid.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. It's gonna happen. Interesting to see. I wouldn't want to see. We're stuck in it. Like, they'd be whoever gets stuck with a Force India team is gonna be. If they don't do something about it, like, they'd be wasting some good talent there. And Nico Hulkenberg and Sergio Perez. Yeah, they'd be wasting some good facilities there.
Shown himself to be badass.
It cannot be undersold, like the fact that Force India has been able to rise above all that stuff. And hey, maybe after all of this, we're looking in the wrong place at an Alpha team coming from either Faenza in Toro Rosso or Switzerland. But maybe they'll become a good candidate for Ferrari to buy, or Alpha. For Marchione to move in and
Alpha Force India. Hey, why not?
And with that
Alpha Force,
and with that massive bit of speculation, I think we can call it a day.
Final.
Oh yes, right. This
Lego idea for any Lego fans out there. I'm not a huge Lego fan, but I'm behind this. Philadelphia right now has a Lego Ideas account. You go to ideas.lego.com and project number 138152.
We're gonna put a link of this in the description of the video, and
we got a link in the
on
description.
our page.
But what something that Lego does, I just found out a few days ago, and that's pretty fucking
This
cool.
is actually pretty cool, yeah.
And anyone that's watching the video, if you see this picture, somebody has designed this SF16H or whatever Formula One Ferrari. So if you build, you can design and build anything with Lego. Submit it to the Lego Ideas website, and if you get 10,000 support clicks within a year, Lego will produce and sell this product.
This
So,
thing is, yeah.
Actually, I was number 316 when I supported this, and now we've reached 323 on this car.
Let's make
This
it happen.
afternoon.
Let's make it happen.
They give 1 year. There's a 1 year window for these Lego projects to happen. There's 356 days left for this car to be a real product.
Look it up if you're a listener. I'm sure. Like, where'd you find the original link to this Reddit? It was somewhere on Reddit or somewhere.
Someone posted it on Reddit.
Yeah.
But if you go to the ideas.lego.com or Lego Ideas website, you'll find it there. Type in search F1. There are actually a number of F1 projects.
But this one looks badass.
This one looks badass, and it has the most support
and
the fewest
honestly,
days of any of them.
yeah, this is the Ferrari. This is this year's Ferrari. How cool is that?
The white top.
Yeah. Like that's really cool. Yeah, that's something that we endorse this.
We endorse this. I don't think Bernie will. I feel like he's gonna come in and be like, I don't think so.
Not official F1 merchandise.
This is not official.
Why does he have an accent all of a sudden? Anyway,
I don't know.
I can't find the username of whoever designed this, so I'd give a shout out.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Hajker.
Hajdirk.
Dicker.
Hajdecker.
Hajdekr.
Thanks for putting this together, guy.
Oh no, that's the wrong guy. That's a different guy. Noah L.
Oh, Noah L.
Noah space L. There you go.
Buddy, you're doing good things.
We love it.
All right, DJ.
Love it.
All right. We will see you guys next week, next Tuesday.
For the Russia Grand Prix preview.
Sorry.
And
Computer's loading up.
How does that baseline go again? There we go.
Oh, that's it.